We always hear about Apache Spark being this crazy powerful engine for big data, but how does it actually work? What really happens under the hood when you submit your code and wait for a result? Well, today, we're going to pop the hood and see exactly how the machinery runs.
I mean, it's a pretty wild question when you think about it. You write one program, hit run, and suddenly this whole distributed system just springs to life, getting hundreds, maybe thousands of machines to work together in perfect harmony. It definitely feels like magic, but it's not. It's just a masterclass in distributed computing.
And the best way to get our heads around this is to stop thinking about it as code for a minute and start thinking about it like a project team. See, every single Spark job has a project manager, a resource manager, and a whole crew of dedicated workers. So let's meet the team.
This core team, this trinity, is really the foundation of Spark's entire architecture. If you can understand their different roles, you'll totally get how a job gets done. First up, let's talk about the project manager.
Okay, so first, you've got the driver. This is the brains of the operation, a project manager. It's the actual process where your main program is running. And its most important job is to look at your code, all your transformations and actions, and create a super detailed execution blueprint from it.
But of course, a project manager needs a team to manage, and that's where the cluster manager comes in. Think of this as the HR department or the resource boss. Its whole job is to acquire the computers and hire the workers for the project. And what's so powerful is that this component is pluggable. That means Spark isn't locked into one system. It can run on its own, or it can play nice with big enterprise systems like Yarn or Mesos, which makes it incredibly flexible.
And finally, we have our workers, the executors. These are the processes that the cluster manager launches on all the different machines in your cluster. These are the folks who get their hands dirty. They're the ones executing the individual tasks that the driver assigns. And this is crucial. They hold data in memory for lightning-fast access later on.
So that's our team. A really clear chain of command, right? The driver creates the master plan, the cluster manager goes out and builds the team, and then the executors get to work. It's this clean separation of duties that lets Spark scale up so well. All right, now that we've met the whole crew, let's see how a project actually gets started. How does a job even come into existence in the first place?
Every single Spark journey starts right here with this one command. A user, that's you package up your application and you submit it to the cluster using a script called Spark Submit. That one little action is the spark, no pun intended, that ignites the entire process.
And what you've just launched is officially called a Spark application. But this isn't just your code. It's the whole temporary organization that's been created just for your job. It's the driver acting as the coordinator and all the executor processes it commands, all united on one single mission.
So the moment your application kicks off, the very first thing the driver does, our project manager, is go straight to the cluster manager. It says, hey, I've got a job to do, and I'm going to need this many workers with this much memory and this many CPUs. The cluster manager then takes that request and goes and launches all those executor processes for you.
Okay, so the team is assembled. The executors are up and running, just waiting for their instructions. Now, let's dig into how the driver actually creates that master plan. At the very heart of the driver is an object called the Spark context. This is your main entry point. It's the thing that lets your driver actually talk to the cluster. Without a Spark context, your code is just a standalone program. With it, it becomes a distributed Spark powerhouse. Now, this is where the driver's real intelligence shines. It doesn't just send your entire program to the workers. No way. It analyzes your code and creates a logical plan. A job is the whole computation, usually triggered by an action like a count or collect. But to run efficiently, that job gets broken down into stages. These are groups of tasks that can be run without shuffling a bunch of data around. And finally, each stage is made up of individual tasks. These are the smallest possible units of work that get sent to a single executor. This whole hierarchy is absolutely key to Spark's incredible performance.
So just think of it this way. One big job, like one big project, can be broken down into potentially thousands of individual tasks. And each one of those tasks is a super specific assignment for one single worker operating on just one little piece of your data, all happening at the same time.
Okay, the plan is ready, the tasks are all defined, it's time to unleash the parallel powerhouse.
And this is the moment it all comes together. The driver, now acting as this hyper-efficient dispatcher, starts sending out all those small, specific tasks to its army of executors spread across the cluster. Each executor gets its own little packet of instructions and knows exactly which piece of data to work on.
So each executor is a really focused worker. Its main job? Execute the tasks it's given. As it finishes each one, it reports the status and any results right back to the driver. But it has another really critical role. It uses its own memory to cache data. So if you tell Spark to .cache a dataset, the executors will literally hold on to those pieces in their RAM, which makes any future operations on that same data just unbelievably fast.
We've seen all the pieces of the puzzle now, the team, the plan, and the execution. So let's put it all together one last time and walk through the complete job execution flow from the very beginning to the very end.
Okay, let's follow the entire journey. Step 1, you submit your application. Step 2, that launches the driver, our project manager. Step 3, the driver immediately turns to the cluster manager and asks for resources. Step 4, the cluster manager allocates the team, launching all the executors you need. And Step 5, the driver starts assigning the work, sending specific tasks to each executor. And finally, Step 6, the executors get the job done, reporting their results all the way back to the driver, who pieces it all together for your final answer. It's a really beautifully orchestrated dance of distributed computing.
So there you have it. The architecture of a Spark job isn't a black box anymore, is it? It's a well-defined, elegant system with a clear chain of command, and it's all designed for one thing: massive parallel processing. So now that you understand the blueprint, the only question left is, what are you going to build with it?